Gamer, Pylet Gamer.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Oh my goodness, cats.
Featuring. All right, done. It looks like we are live there. Sweet. Live. You definitely are looking a lot different than the picture you sent me for your...
Yeah, that picture is long ago. I will not lie about that.
I might steal a screen cap if I can from here or something.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine.
Can I help
All right,
you?
let's see.
I mean, I have long hair in that one too. It's just
You don't look like you're auditioning for Vikings in that one.
probably do a good job.
All right, save. All right, sweet. So let's go to there. All right, so we are live on the YouTube. We are live on the Twitch. Everything looks good. Sweet. So the questions, all they look good and everything?
Yeah.
All right, so basic flow is we just I introduce us. We kind of talk about what we've been doing inside, outside of Hearthstone. Doesn't really matter what you want to talk about. Don't feel like you have to just be like, hey, what have you been doing in Hearthstone? Priest. Great. Talk, elaborate, take whatever tangents you want. We'll interview, and then we'll talk about the new meta. And if you enjoy your experience and you want to come back, we'll come back and we'll actually give you an actual topic aside from just like the current excitement of the new expansion. You know what I mean? Normally, you have people talk about, hey, this is how I deal with tilt. This is how I prep for tournaments. This is how I whatever. But this is the time of the season where it's just like, oh, let's just talk about new stuff.
Sounds good.
All right. Are you guys ready to talk some Hearthstone?
I
Always.
suppose.
All right. Let me get us going here. Oops. That's flat. All right, here we go. Oops, nope. We're starting that over. Much better. Welcome back to Bread and Butter, where we're serving up the basics for Hearthstone Improvement. This is episode 163, and as not always, but as in this week, we have him back. Pylet, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. And we have another very special, wonderful guest this week. We have GamerRVG. GamerRVG, how are you?
I'm doing good. The new expansion just released.
Do we call you GamerRVG? Do we call you Gamer? Do we call you RVG? What do you want to be called by? What's?
Most people just call me GamerRVG, so I'm fine with that.
All right, cool. So GamerRVG, what have you been doing inside of Hearthstone lately?
I've been playing a lot of Imbue Druid. It is very, very powerful. So I've been spamming a lot of it because it's very, very fun.
Fair enough. Have you been playing any of the other classes? Well, we could talk about that afterwards in the main topic, but anything else that's really caught your attention?
Originally I tried out the Demon Hunter with the Herald, but I realized that the spell Demon Hunter with no minions was stronger, so I switched to that, and I played a bunch of that too at the start of the expansion.
Fair enough. How about yourself, Pylet? What have you been doing inside of Hearthstone?
I've been kind of trying to deck roulette the past couple days. I was out of town for the first few days of the expansion, so unfortunately, I was trying all the new stuff as people were getting figured out what was good and what wasn't. So it made it a little bit more challenging to try things for the first time, but still got in some fun games. I think most of my games, or the 3 or 4 decks I've played the most, have been the Burn Mage, the Herald Shaman, which I finally started to figure out. I went 0-4, and I've climbed my way back to 5-6 with it, so I'm getting that figured out. And Imbue Quest Priest, which was not on my radar as a deck that I would enjoy, but I've been enjoying it, and I feel like I've been broken by the new set, but that's okay. Turns out when sometimes you get to send 18 damage flash heals face, that's very fun and very addicting. So yeah.
I mean, I used to love the Shadow Priest, and that was all about that. So I started off this week, and I was going to play. I wanted to get to Legend. I haven't really played much Standard all month, because doing other things with the Theorycraft and all that. So I was like, all right, you know what? Let's just try to get to Legend, and then I'll start goofing around. And I took World 8 and Magase's Tree and Druid, and I swapped in a couple different cards. I played the Brood Watcher, which I love. That card is, I think, fantastically underrated. But I switched that in there, and we had like a 65 to 70% win rate. At one point, we were like 80 to 90%. We were just rolling, and it's a fun deck. I've really enjoyed it. Then I hit Legend, and I'm like, all right, let's try to start goofing around. And we tried to we played a little bit of the End of Turnitin. We've tried a little bit of a couple other decks, and then one of my community members on the stream came in with a recruit warrior, and the deck's not that good. I know this, but it's almost good. So I think there's something there if we can tweak it. This is dangerous territory. This is dangerous. But like, I've been experimenting with that today, and I've watched my rank go down. But we're trying to find the right kind of thing to go with it. Curse that Imbue Druid, because all of a sudden it is everywhere. Thank you, Clark. But it's one of those ones that the Druid I'm playing is doing just as well, but it's only got like a 1.4% win rate. The 1.4% play rate. The Imbue Druid has like a 22% play rate. So I'm sure they're going to touch Druid in some way, and my Druid is going to take strays because of Imbue Druid. But that's okay. We'll figure that out. GamerRVG, what have you been doing outside of the game?
Outside of the game, recently I've been I'm a big League of Legends esports fan, so I've been following along with that tournament and just playing the game myself. I one trick Ari in the mid lane, so I've actually been climbing. I was stuck in gold, but just recently hit plat, so I'm happy with that.
Nice. Pylet, how about yourself? You had a kind of a quiet week, right?
Yeah, I wish so. As I said, I was out of town for the start of the expansion. We had our trip every 4 years. Our band and choir take a trip to Florida. We go to Universal and perform. So we were down there for the week. Had a great time. Wish that we didn't bring Ohio weather with us down to Florida, but it's okay. It was 85 the first day and then barely hit 60 the second day. So a little chilly, but still a good time. So always fun. And, second time that I've been able to make that trip. Beach wasn't as fun as it was last time when it was, 70s and 80s, but that's okay. Outside of that, not too much, just kind of surviving the weird weather right before we left. And before that's why I missed last week was the trip. But before that, we had a crazy day of wind. We had like constant 30 to 50 mile an hour winds for like 12 plus hours with 70 gusts. So we were supposed to go to our large group contest with the band and choir, and it got canceled, partly because it was not safe for buses to travel, partly because a bunch of us lost power and there was damage at the school we were supposed to go to. So that got canceled. I lucked out. I didn't have as much damage at my house other than a storm door that got ripped off that I forgot was loose. So it is what it is, but it's been weird. I'm ready for hopefully April brings some more normal or as normal as Ohio weather gets.
Hopefully before that, we still have a week before. I want the weather to even out now.
I'm not getting my hopes up on that.
That's fair. So I had a pretty good week for me. As I've talked about here, I've been trying to work on the YouTube, getting that going, and we had our first ever real long form actually get some views, and it was kind of nice. And put out another one the next day. That one didn't do as good, but we really took advantage of the new expansion. I got out there and I came home from work early and I sat down and I made a video and then I played some games with the deck the tree and druid, and then I put those on there and we shipped it out there and it did pretty well. So I'm very excited about that. Also, I went today to my son's taekwondo tournament where he got to do some breaking, and he's not the strongest kid, and he needs some work on things. But he did really well. He showed his potential there, and watching him do like a ridge hand through a bunch of boards, where I was a little worried about it because his windup was never really that good, but he got in there and he smashed them. So I was pretty proud of him. That was a lot of fun. And aside from that, just living the dream, working and doing the thing. So Pylet, do we have any news this week?
Nothing much for news. I didn't put it in the show notes because it's very little. We did have a hotfix patch at the end of the week, the 35.0.1 hotfix. A lot of them were very niche issues with specific cards. Got like Timekeeper Toki is now coming back correctly. There are some things where it's recurring effects that were weird. Some known issues that they are working on. I think the three biggest ones to point out. There's devices that are having some crashing and disconnect issues. So if you're having a lot of those, double check there. I believe it is a Samsung device. And then Arisen Onyxia, the Death Knight Colossal. Currently, if you do not have enough health to play the minion for health, it will not let you do it. They are going to change that. They did that with another card a couple years ago to where it fit the rules at the time, but it was a card that was worth making a special rule for. I forget what it was the other time, but it was something very similar. So once they get that fixed, you'll be able to do that. So if you have 3 health and want to play an 8 cost minion for health with Onyxia, you'll still be able to play and gain the 8 max health. And then also the Demon Hunter location that I can't remember the name of, the one that once you use it up, it has the Naga that gives you Naga every time you play a fell spell that costs 1. Ajara, the Colossal, cannot be generated from that. That is correct, and they're going to update the text or something on that to let you know that that cannot be generated from that.
All right. Sounds good. None of that really affected me, but I haven't seen any Toki Mage in a while.
I was gonna say, so considering how much stuff got put in, I mean, a very uneventful known issues, which is probably a good thing. I think the other thing is Raptor Herald currently isn't available for some reason. The one that was from the gift set or whatever last year, I think that's supposed to still be available this year in core, and it's not. So they're fixing that.
Fair enough. I thought they said it wasn't going to be, but that okay, that makes sense. So
it's in the known issues. So
all right, cool. All right, so I think it's time to get to know our guest here a little bit. So GamerRVG, how did you get started in gaming, and how did that lead you to Hearthstone?
Yeah, so I started gaming quite young. I started playing just on the DS and also the PlayStation 2 and then PlayStation 3. I went over to a friend's house and I saw they were playing, I think it was Modern Warfare 2, and I really got into that. My parents got it for me, and then I really stuck to the Modern Warfare series with my friends for a while, and just played that a lot. I really I think that's when I first so I get a game and then I stick to it. So I played a lot of that. Eventually led to the computer where I played World of Warcraft and League of Legends, and kind of a side tangent, but that ties into Hearthstone is that I was a Boy Scout, and a lot of Boy Scouts, what they would do is, and I didn't personally have any of the cards, but they would play Magic the Gathering, and I would see them play it, and I would sometimes use some of their decks, and I would enjoy it. I really like the strategic aspect of it, and because I was into World of Warcraft, Hearthstone at the start was very popular, so it became known to me. And then I started playing right when it, not in beta, but right when it was released in 2014, and I've kind of slowly become more and more invested in it ever since. and that's kind of what led me to Hearthstone, and now it's all Hearthstone for me.
Fair enough. How did that lead you to streaming?
So I went off to college. I think it was 2018, 2019, something like that, and I was not having the best time in college. Like I wasn't enjoying it personally. So instead I invested a lot of my time just playing Hearthstone instead of going to classes and stuff like that. So that's what led me into streaming, because I was just playing all this Hearthstone. I was getting very good at it, and then I was in Twitch all the time, so I was very used to streaming, and I figured I was good, and I just decided to go live. I had some connections. I knew I was always in a Zeddy stream and Asmund stream, and they Asmodai they I was lucky enough that they kind of like rated me when I just started, and that really propelled wanted me to continue just streaming. So that's kind of the start to my streaming career.
So, what is a pitch? What is your elevator pitch to people that may have not caught you stream yet? Why should they come check you out?
Yeah, so I think people should come check me out streaming if they are interested in the competitive side of Hearthstone, or just getting better at Hearthstone. If anyone has any questions about the game, I will try to do my best to answer it. If whether it's a meta question or mulligan or anything like that, I'm very focused on the improvement and competitive side of Hearthstone. So if that's something you're at all interested in, I would say check out my stream.
Do you make any other content outside of the streaming?
No, I haven't.
All right, that's fair. What's your competitive history, and what are your current competitive goals?
Yeah, so I started competing really in 2019 when it's right around when the Master Tour system started out, and I ever since then I've been a competitive Hearthstone player. I've qualified to almost all of the Master Tours since then. I've only missed out on I think 2 or 3 of them, and I briefly got into GM right before it ended. I finished second there. I finished second at one of the MTs, and then recently in 2024 qualified to Worlds. Unfortunately, I had a swift exit in Worlds, but I'm happy I at least qualified. I wasn't able to make it last year, but the past few years, my goal as a competitor has been to qualify to Worlds, and I finally made it, and that's kind of my goal this year, is just to make it back to Worlds, especially since for those who don't know, we're going back to in-person Worlds, so that's super exciting, since like a year after, I was fortunate enough to go to a couple in-person tournaments, but I started competing, everything was in person, and then like 1 year later, everything's online now. So to have the opportunity again to go to an in-person tournament would be amazing.
Agreed. COVID kind of really messed things up for a lot of everything. So you said that you got second place in a Masters Tour, you qualified for Worlds, and had a swift exit. What do you think your biggest roadblock has been to winning it all?
I think my biggest roadblock has probably been just nerves and anxiety, I would say, because you get into the tournament, and for me, I really do care about it a lot, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because it helps me want to push forward and invest my time in it. But also, when you get really high rank on ladder or in the tournament, or just even prepping for the tournaments, figuring out your decks, you can get very nervous, anxious, doubt what decks you're gonna bring. So I would say that it makes it hard, because it's fine to be nervous and anxious because you care about it, but it does sometimes affect my play or my prep, and ends up sometimes costing me.
So what do you think about I know we're excited about Worlds being live and stuff. What do you think about the current Masters Tour system? Has it been an improvement over the grindy years of ladder or having these open qualifiers? Do you think they're doing enough? What are your thoughts on the current system?
Yeah, so it's the current Master Tour system is pretty similar to last year's, and I thought last year's was headed in the right direction, and this year is a little bit of an improvement. There are a couple things that I definitely wish they did that they didn't do now. One of the things is that so they have a lot of people who qualify to the Master Tour by the playoffs, which is really nice. But for the direct qualifications right now, they only have they have one person per each region, which makes it very top heavy. So it makes it you have to be for the few people, like 3 or 4 people from each region who try from the like, it's still a grind for them. For everyone else, it's very nice, I would say. So I think it's headed in the right direction that way. But for the few people that try on ladder, it's still as frustrating as ever. But I like that they had 2 Master Tours last year. This year they have 3, which I think is a nice improvement. And other than that, I was really wanting them to have some kind of prizing for the qualifiers and the playoffs. The qualifiers would be not the qualifiers. Back when I first started competing, had packs, and then the playoffs. While there are like 60 people per tournament, which is a lot more. Even if they had some type of prizing for the top 8 or something like that, it would feel you'd feel more rewarded for the effort you put in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So where does the name GamerRVG come from?
Yeah, so it goes back to Modern Warfare 2 or 3. I forget which one, but some I can't even remember their name or anything like this. But somebody from my friends list wanted to start a clan, and I was I was interested in I've always taken things very competitively, so I'm like, being in a clan seems like a good way to get better at the game, and we could be a clan and compete in things or whatnot. So I think me and this other person came up with the name RVG, and then I just came up with the name Gamer, and then RVG was the clan tag. I was young, so it just sounded cool to me, GamerRVG. So
Yeah, we all have interesting origin stories of our gamer tags. So what style of Hearthstone do you prefer? Like control, aggro, and what is it about that style that draws you in?
I would say the style I like I mean, it's actually changed throughout the years, because I really didn't like control at the start, and now I do like when there's a good control deck. and it clicks with me. Not every control deck does click with me. I've never really clicked with control priest, but when there's a good control warrior or a control DK, sometimes depends on the deck, but that's really clicked with me. So control, but also I would say at my core, I like just tempo based gameplay where you're trying to as efficiently as possible spend all your mana and figure out basically just what the most efficient play is every turn to develop your gameplay. I think that's probably throughout my career what's resonated with me the most.
That's fair. That's good. And I think I don't even sure control priests players like control priests. They're just kind of sadists. So do you have any particular matches or series that stick out as one of your favorite or best in your professional career?
Not on the top of my head, to be honest. I think if I had to, actually, it's I'll go with kind of a weird answer here, but I qualified to GM, and how I ended up doing it is I had enough points, but there were a couple people in the last master tier before I qualified to GM that were Americans, and if they did better than me, I would not end up qualifying to GM. So I was kind of like anti-sweating a couple people. So I just remember watching these fellow competitors play, and I needed them to lose. So I'm just like really nervous watching them, and they barely lost. I know it sounds a bit hateful, but it's not any ill intent. It's just that I needed them to do bad to qualify. So I was just it's some of the most emotion I've ever got, not playing, but just watching to try to qualify to the GM system, which I was trying to qualify to for 3 years in a row or something. Like I was really trying to get into it, so it meant a lot to me. And luckily the people I need to lose did lose, but yeah.
There's no hate there. That's a common sports thing. There's always like the hey, we won, now we just need this team to lose and we're in, and you know what? Yeah, that's normal. So one final question: what is something people might find surprising to learn about you? It doesn't have to be serious. It can be anything you want. Just what's something that you think that most people wouldn't know about GamerRVG?
I think, I mean, I'll just say the first thing that came to mind is I think they would. I mean, I think a lot of people would already know this, but I think some people would be surprised to learn that I have autism. I think they would be surprised to learn that, because I think some people don't quite understand what that means. Like they think of it as like it's always very severe, or they don't quite understand it. So I think that's what I'll go with.
That's fair. My older son's autistic, and it is a real thing where they took all these different things that had different variations and they just stuck it into one spectrum. So it's kind of like, oh, you're just, I don't know, you're autistic, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm over here, whatever. It's hard to. It's like that doesn't really tell you anything. It just tells you that, there's some cognitive stuff that you need to work with. That's all. So Pylet, what's our main topic tonight?
Yeah, we're just gonna kind of talk about our early impressions for Cataclysm, what decks are out there, what's working, what's not, things like that. So kind of as we typically do, we'll kind of go class by class. Feel free to chime in with any decks that you've seen that are doing well. With the limited time I've had to play, I'm just going to kind of throw some things out that I'm seeing on like the meta reports and whatnot. But we'll start with Death Knight. I think the one that most people are excited to try was Herald Death Knight with Onyxia, definitely have seen a decent amount of it. It looks like it's at like 6.5%, with varied results. It's like tier 3, tier 4. But with it being a slower deck, that feels normal to where it's going to take time to figure out what the best build is. And I'm sure that there's builds that are doing much better. But I think one that we should have, us as a podcast, Tito, I should have seen coming because we were playing it. Unholy Death Knight is way up there and is right behind Druid for one of the top decks at 56%. So there's some Unholy Death Knight floating around, just hitting people in the face as you typically do if you want to climb early.
Yeah, it's early in the expansion. It's always faster. It's because the control decks haven't figured things out, and there's always some kind of imbue druid that kind of overruns the system, and it makes it so that way these slower decks can't really find their footing. So I'm not too worried about how controlled Death Knight is going to be. If we know anything, people really love the archetype. People love the class, so it's going to be fine. It just might take a balance patch or two before it gets there, or even just kind of a meta shift. As far as the Unholy Death Knight, I haven't played a lick of it since I played it for 2 months before this expansion. So I love the deck, but I was like, I'll come back to that later. There's only like a couple new cards in there. Let's go ahead and play some other things. So it's definitely something I'm going to go back to at some point. But for now, I haven't seen much of the Unholy. It's got a low play rate as well, I believe. I think it's only like a 1.7 or something like that.
Yeah.
And the I mean, whenever I've gone against Blood, it's been fine. I haven't felt like it's not beatable. It doesn't. I thought they were gonna have like millions of health, and they're not there yet. But I'm sure by the time it gets refined, like Zeddy or whoever is going to do it, then it's going to kind of be more of a pain when they have like 90 health because they figured it out. What are your thoughts on Death Knight there, Mr. Gamer RVG?
Yeah, so I think for Unholy, I like the archetype. I tried to build a list of it. I never ended up playing it. I don't think I think that there's a problem with both the archetypes of control and Unholy is that for the aggro, they're just kind of missing a couple tools. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but it feels like they're missing just like one or two cards. And then specifically for the control Death Knights, I do know what they're missing, and that's just we lost a lot of like really efficient removals, like corpse explosion and stuff, and every time I play against them, it feels like they have the powerful stuff with the heralds, but they just don't have good ways to deal with the board like they used to.
Yeah, the Blood Death Knight feels kind of like it's been like 3 or 4 years ago when they tried to give Control Warrior a bunch of minion-based controlling tools rather than spells, to where they pushed a bunch of rush rather than throwing brawls and things like that out there. And it just was so awkward because then it was so hard to continue that fight for board. And with the Death Knight, you're also, a lot of times when you're trying to do that fight for board, your big swing turns are taking your own health away because it's on the turns that you're heralding. So that if you don't swing the board back, you're just making it easier if you're facing aggro. So I've definitely noticed that has hurt the Herald Death Knight in the games I've played. For the Unholy, the card that surprised me because I thought it was going to be an okay card, I didn't think it was going to be good enough though, is Talanji's Last Stand. To where there's so many times to where they have a very unassuming board on turn 4. You're out of range for Grave Strength. You're like, I can wait one more turn to clear this board. And then they make everything summon a 4-drop when it dies, and you just lose. And you're just done. That card has soloed me multiple times, and I've been impressed by that one. I think that's a card that I personally slept on a little bit. It looks like it's in most of the top decks for Unholy right now. I lost my notes. There it is. Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter has been doing all right. We've kind of talked about, I think, the no minion spell. Demon Hunter has been one of the top, tier 1 archetypes of the early expansion. I think that was a little bit expected because we already had the Broxgar DH and we'd already been kind of flirting with this no minion build before. We had the no minion, we had the blob version of all that before, and now it got enough tools to make the full spell version definitely worthwhile. Herald Demon Hunter is around, definitely not quite as successful, but I think a little bit trickier to kind of figure out how much to go in what direction, because it's not overly clear what you fill the rest of the deck with all the time. If you go full kind of, I know some people have gone a full attack, DH like we had a few years ago when we had like momentums and everything like that, and just build up your hero attack and swing phase, get some lifesteal weapons and whatnot. But kind of balancing out that between some of the other builds has been a little bit interesting. But yeah, the spell DH has been really prevalent and really powerful so far from what I've seen.
What are your thoughts, Mr. RVG?
Yeah, I think the Herald version is actually very good. It's just, or it's pretty good. I think it's just overshadowed by the no minion version. I think if we see some nerfs, that the Herald version will come out and surprise you, because it's still got a lot of powerful stuff that the no minion version has. The only issue is that we're only gonna see the no minion version with because of the Eternal Hold. This legendary location is I've played a good amount of Spell Demon Hunter this expansion, and it just doesn't miss. it really does not. You are basically guaranteed to hit a very, very powerful minion, and the difference between this card and every other card in your deck is crazy. If you find this card on curve, you are very, very likely to just win the game. So the rest of what the deck does isn't too bad itself. It has some pretty powerful things. It does, but it really does rely on that location.
Tito, I think you might be muted.
I am so happy we are not seeing blobs of tar out of blobs of tar out of blobs of tar out of this deck or this archetype anymore, or this class. Now, I've seen a little bit of blob of tar, an appropriate amount in some decks, and it's been great. DH has been great for me playing Treant Druid because I just roll over it. I haven't lost a game to it yet. And I think this is a good example of how we kind of over hype some particular things as they're coming out, as we're like looking at them in the reveal season. It's like, oh, Demon Hunter is going to hit us for 36 damage, Wind Fury, and they're going to heal up the full, and it's going to happen. That's just not how things happen, right? Like, there's a potential for that occasionally, but it's just not there. It looks fun. I mean, I played a little bit of it. I haven't played a ton of it. It seems fun. I think there's still a lot of work to go for the Herald DH. The Spell DH seems fine. I haven't seen much more of the. I want to see more of like the ones that really focus on like the demons, like the hold and whatnot. This seems like a good location to go with the other new location, and I'll figure. It's interesting. I don't think there's really been a build there yet that really kind of pulls it all together.
Well, which locations are you talking about?
The hold, the one that gives you a demon that this is an older.
Yeah,
card.
that's in Spell DH. That's busted in Spell DH.
I haven't seen it, so I'm sure maybe it is, but
yeah, that's what Gamer was talking about. That's definitely the key card, and that's what I got OTK'd by the deck out of nowhere because I thought that I stabilized. I was at 34, and I got Eternal Hold into Illidar Inquisitor into double of, is it Lasting Legacy, that gives plus
Yeah.
4 attack, and if you have no minions in deck, then it gives all your minions in hand plus 4 attack. I just got blown up out of nowhere. I'm like, well, there with that.
That's fair. That's not the. I thought you were talking about what's the new one, the Nestfire.
The new one's
Enthralled.
in a lot of them too.
Yeah, that one seems pretty decent as well. I've seen that a little bit, and it seems like anytime they've gotten that going, it's really been strong. But I don't know. Demon Hunters. I was super excited for Demon Hunter when it came out. When we were in the reveal season, but it just hasn't pulled at me yet. So I'm hoping to find a build that I'm really excited about, but not there yet for me.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of spell DH builds out there that are doing very, very well. As far as other classes, Druid, we've kind of already talked about. Druid has been the early winner for sure, with the three variants of archetypes that are at the top of the totem pole right now, of Imbue Druid, Treant Druid, and Token Druid. All of them are about 15 to 20 cards are the same in all of them. It's just kind of the last 10 if you have the Imbue package, if you have some of the Treant cards, if you have some of the other token cards. But a lot of it is the same general game plan of make a lot of stuff and keep going wide turn after turn. And turns out that that's really good when things like Brawl and Corpse Explosion get taken out of core. So it does seem like the meta is starting to adjust a little bit to them, but not quite, not super quickly. But I do feel like some of the other decks are starting to tech in and find the appropriate clears to kind of combat it a little bit. I've seen some more lightning storms in shamans, compared to some other greedy cards. The warriors are playing around with some other clears to make sure that they've got enough early on to make sure you don't get run over too quickly.
So you've played a lot of Imbue Druid RVG. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so my thoughts on Imbue Druid is just it's just kind of, it got too many, like when you compare Imbue Druid to like all the other classes, Druid just has so many powerful cards that it's hard for, especially with the lack of removal, it's hard to it's hard to outstat it, it's hard to clear it, because your boards are this Wildwood Circle card is just absolutely broken. You build the board, you give your board more board, and then what Imbue Druids have really kind of, like, the lists have only been getting better, because people have realized you could just take the stuff from the Token Druid, and you could just play Imbue Druid like you're just Token Druid, but better. You're still able to run Wicker Fang. You're still able to run this Hatchery Helper, which you make a bunch of 2/2s, and then you're able to give them taunt, so you can't even race them. You have a 2-mana like +7/+7/+7 if your board's full. You have infinite burst. You have people are even running photosynthesis now, which is more card generation. And the interesting thing about photosynthesis is this card used to be terrible, and the reason is you looked at the spell school of Druid, and there was a lot of bad cards. Now you look at it, and like 60% of the cards that you can get are cards you run in your deck, that you actively want in your deck. So not only are you getting more resources, but the resources are almost guaranteed to be good. So it's just crazy.
Again, I'm really sad that I'm almost guaranteeing that Crystal Spine Cub is going to be nerfed in some way, shape, or form in the first balance patch. And it makes me sad because it's a really good card, and again, we're going to take a stray because of Imbue Druid. But almost every card in this set for Druid has hit. And not all of them are there yet. Like we have, I think Ajar's Triumph is still going to be fine once we have a little bit of a slower meta. And same thing with Marithria. I think those two are very solid cards. But like every other card they have right now is in play. Felwood Treant's good. Forest Gift is good. Moss Binding is just an amazing card because it's a 2-mana card that can give you tempo early or give you some strength in the late game. We slept on Shatter. Everybody slept on Shatter. Everybody's like, oh, Shatter's not going to be good. You got to have 2 different cards. You can't play that. That's never going to be good. There's been plenty of times where I've played one of them and it's just been fine. Sometimes it's even been a good card to play if you just need it for the fire spell, the one that gives you +1/+1, discard a nature spell +1/+1. That card is fine with this, even if you lose one half of it. Broodwatcher, not a lot of people are playing, but I love that card. It's that Broodwatcher is 4 mana, 4/5 dragon, battle cry, get 2/3/3 whelps with taunt. If you play 8 mana while holding this, summon it. This goes so well either right before or right after a Wicker Fang, because they're going to spend so much effort clearing one of those because there's not a lot of clear, and you get rid of that, and then you have another board in the box right there. I was very underwhelmed with Wicker Fang during reveal season. I was so wrong. Clip it. I'm wrong. It is such a good card. You can get this out on 4. It is nuts. You play Forest Gift on it. You play Forest Gift on one of the tentacles, and it right away it gets the tentacles. You get at least +5/+5 with the minions on the board that go right to Wicker Fang, and then they get stats at the end of the thing as well. It's a bonkers little combination. Druid is really good right now. I don't think it's. I think it needs to be taken down a notch, but I hope they don't like absolutely blow it out because it's not typical ramp druid that's, hey, now we're playing like, Dungar. What was the name of the guy? The one, the 9 mana that summoned 3 different minions from 3 different sets. Dungar. It's not Dungar druid. It's not something like that. It's aggro druid. It's tempo druid. It's fun. I think there's a good place for it. Again, it just needs to be tweaked a little bit, but I think druid's in a really good spot, and I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how throughout this week the meta reacts. I do feel like there's been an effort to react to it some, but there's also it's been mixed because there's been fighting back against druids and then also fighting back against eggs, because there's been a bunch of egg decks that we'll get to later on in the controlling classes. So trying to figure out how to deal with both of those, I think, has been an interesting balance for some of the classes. There's just so many good druid cards right now, and all the good cards that they printed, I didn't even look at it to see that they all said nature. They're all nature spells, so all the good ones just slotted right into Imbue Druid, and we expect that to where it's not that Imbue Druid was super good before, but it was a very easy deck to build because you just look for good cards and nature cards and you put it together, and it's a very easy deck to dominate early meta for sure. It'll be interesting to see if it does get naturally toned down, just because there's so much gas, just because you constantly have the hero powers as well kind of going. If you can keep up with it, if you can survive and keep your clears going turn 5, turn 6, normally you can kind of find a way, but you've also got to fight against the explosive turns because the token and treant druid, Tito, as you had in that one short, to where it just sometimes you just hit the nuts and there's absolutely no beating it, and it's not super uncommon for them to just absolutely out flood the board that you can't fight back against so that early.
I had a turn, so it was I had Crystal Spine Cub. I mulliganed something. I had both innervates. I was on the coin, and we drew the shatter card. So on turn 1, I was able to Crystalline Cub, coin, innervate, play the shattered card as one card. Turn 1. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with that? That we won that game.
Die. That's what you do. You lose.
You bottom right.
So yeah. So druid very strong right now. Hunter also not doing too bad. Face Hunter, no hand hunter, whatever you want to call it, has been doing quite well and has a lot of burn. It's got a lot of damage. I played it a little bit. Playing against it, every time I thought that I stabilized, I'm like, I'm gonna be okay. This is fine. And then I get hit for like 8 damage from hand because of rocks and arcane shots and whatnot. It's like, this is okay. They don't have a board. What's gonna happen? And then they play Confront the Tol'Vir, and I just die. Because that card is bonkers. That card is very, very good. So Hunter doing quite well. Quest Hunter seems to be doing all right. It's very low play rate. It's only 0.2%, but it's showing at 49% win rate. So there have been some people who have been figuring that out a little bit. But what have your guys' experience with Hunter been?
So I've seen a lot of it. Confront the Tol'Vir is a hell of a card. We haven't seen the cards we thought we were going to see. Like, I know everyone was like, oh, we're going to get hit. They're going to do so much damage with the 8/8 dragon that punches you in the face. And I mean, we're not seeing Magmor, which I think everyone kind of assumed that right off the bat. That's just kind of like almost a waste of a card.
I saw one today. I saw one today, and they died the next turn.
Yeah, that is a
that's the Magmor experience.
That's almost like when we talk about you play the dragon that gives your opponent 2 turns, whatever like that. That's almost like a play the card, lose the game. Abyssian, I haven't seen much of, but like so the dragon things, I know Sidisi's trying to make it work, but it really kind of hasn't there. It's weird that they gave them so much dragon synergy without actually giving them a dragon. Like they have a couple things that become dragons, but there's no like class dragons, as Sidisi said when he was on the show the other week. Savannah's Triumph is fine. You don't have a lot of ways to copy it. It's not like we have Discover Hunter, so that would have been bonkers in Discover Hunter. But now it's fine. Like you don't usually see the second one. The Reinforcement Rallier is very, very solid. The Shatter card here has been, I guess, fine. I don't know. It's really good. It doesn't feel too bad to play. You know what's really good is the stupid no hand, not the you want to get rid of all the cards in your hand combination with this. They get that 1/3 down on turn 1. It is just hero power after hero power after hero power. And if you can't deal with that, it just rolls you. So the thing I'm surprised about is we haven't seen Gen at all. I mean, we've seen a little bit of him, but he hasn't really like you would think Gen would be great in this deck because you're probably going to have free hero powers. You're going to get a lot of stuff, and just having that 1 mana cards usually will give you room for a hero power over the top and a way to weave that in. And 3 versus 2, 3 is greater than 2, but I haven't seen any Gen. I think that was one of those cards people thought we were going to see a lot of.
I think the problem with Gen is the one that I'm running is super low. I think it tops out at 3. So you think it'd be a good fit, but the problem is some of the 2-cost cards are ones that you don't just want to dump out of your hand because they're your refill cards. So then you get stuck with that in your hand, not allowing Gen to activate, and then it gets a little bit awkward there. I haven't played many games, but that's my feeling for running a version without Gen of, I can see why this doesn't quite always work well enough because it's a little bit trickier to just throw away, some of the 2-cost cards.
What are your thoughts there, RVG?
I think I find this Hunter very funny because everyone calls it, so it's obviously called No Hand Hunter, but it feels like they have infinite resources. Because like that's the it's a very powerful deck when it hits. Confront the Tol'Vir is just infinite stats, and because you're able to draw so much, a lot of times you're able to. There's a lot of games where you think you've outlasted them, and as like Imbued Druid, and I'm sure this happens against like Trained Druid or other like aggro mirrors, is they can become a control deck where they find their Sylvanas, they find their Sylvanas Triumphant, they find one Confront the Tol'Vir with just it has arcane shots. It clears your board. It clears your board and makes a board. You think this deck is Face Hunter, but I think it's secretly Control Hunter. Is
what if we just settle in the middle and call it mid range?
So I will say, now that I tried to sound really smart on why Gen wasn't in the deck, the top deck on HS Guru does have Gen, with a little bit higher win rate than the one that I was running, and about 10,000 more games than the one I was running. So Gen might be correct.
What's the play rate on that though?
This on that specific deck list, just under 14,000 games, Diamond through Legend.
All right, so still in the infant stages.
So yeah, I mean, no Hand Hunter seeing a decent amount of play. I mean, it's at 5% of the meta. So good stats. It's a good deck. I'm interested to see, like we talked about, the Dragon Hunter hasn't quite hit yet. I think that there's powerful stuff there. It's just, I think it's a little bit too slow to get going compared to the Druids and compared to the Face Hunter. So if those get slowed down a little bit, I think that there's some breathing room for it. And I think that it would be okay in a slightly slower meta. It would do better into the controlling decks than the tokens and whatnot. But it's going to get run over by those decks too quickly.
So I'm going to start this next section off. Mage has been Burn Mage, and that's actually it's in the top 10, I think, right now of decks. It's a tier B deck, if not whatever. Pylet, I know you were super excited about Mage coming into this. What are your thoughts?
I'm happy. I'm so happy with Burn Mage. So it's seen a few different iterations. Actually, what has surprised me the most is the top 3 deck lists on it are actually running the Colossal. I don't know if it's a good enough card to be in it, but it's good enough to be in the top 3 deck list and not hurt them. So I haven't personally played it, but I've been running it in the deck because I got the signature version. But yeah, it's just, there's so much damage. It does take a little bit of, you have to finesse your way through the early game against Druids, because you need to kind of figure out, okay, what can I ignore? How much damage can I take until I get to my better clears, until I can get to, the Arcane Barrages, to the Shattered card. What can I get by leaving alive for a little bit until I get there? And then once you get there, you're typically fine because you just blow up any board that they play, and then you play some 6/6s with it. Still a lot of, I feel like the last handful of cards aren't quite settled in yet. And a couple of cards that are good, I know are good, are a little awkward, like the 1-drop dragon, the Time Twisted Seer. When it's damage, give +2 spell damage. It's a strong card in the deck, but it's so awkward to consistently get to work because you never want to spend 2 mana on a hero power on it. But if you've buffed your spells with Kellic, then it kills it. So like you can't use a 1 mana spell on it to damage it. So it gets a little bit awkward with that, but that's been really good. One thing I didn't know until the other day when I was playing, Shattered cards, if they're split, when it reconvenes, it re-adds the discount or re-adds any buffs to it. So like if you buff it with Kellic, it splits. You have the plus spell damage on each half. When it combines, it adds it again. Or if you get a mana discount on it and they cost 3, when it combines, it re-adds the discount and costs 2. And it sounds like that is intended. So that creates a very interesting shenanigan sometimes.
Yeah, it's been really cool. Archmage Kellic is a heck of a card. Hold on one second. Archmage Kellic is a heck of a card. It's really, really, really good. The Arcane Flow into Spellweaver's Brilliance is an instant 6/6 on a board. Thank goodness they don't have taunt. I haven't seen a ton of I've tried a few games of this game. I tried to play Volcanus. It seems okay. If you're gonna play it or not play it, it's good to have it. You get some cheap spells, and there's always a good Raincaller. Surprised me. It's a really, really good card because you just get that out there. It's 1/4, it doesn't die very easily, and it's very easy to give it +2 attack every turn, and you can kind of protect it and really kind of snowball with that card. And Winterspring Whelp has been very solid as well. Overall, I haven't played a ton, but I've enjoyed what I've played, and I'm looking forward to playing more. GamerRVG, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I heard a lot of people. I mean, for me, I can't say too much. All I could say is that I know a lot of people were hyped up for the Burn Mage, but I personally, I just haven't seen any Burn Mage in High Legend. I don't know if people are just not experimenting with it, or it's just not quite good enough. But I think so far from what I've seen, it's not living up quite to the hype. So I guess I'll just have to wait and see how it develops.
It's definitely something that it was probably beating up on early unrefined decks, because looking at the stats for Diamond through Legend, it's, weakest matchups, Demon Hunter, Druid, Warrior are all under 50%, Hunters 49%. So it's definitely tricky against the top decks, which doesn't help. And I think at Legend, and especially top 1K Legend, it falls below 50% win rate. But I think that there's still room to tinker with it as well.
I forgot to say one thing about Hunter. I did try to make a Vyranoth imbue Hunter work, and that didn't go so well. But we had to try.
I thought of that. I played against an imbue Hunter today. Nice. I don't know what they were trying to do with it, because it died before I saw much of anything. But I saw an imbue card.
If you can make it happen. And the other thing too about the about the mage is, Volcanus is interesting, because you're not running herald cards when you run that. It's just you run the colossal without any heralds. So, well, you can't run heralds, right? Because it's mage.
Yeah, there's no herald in mage.
Heralds. That's why you don't see heralds. I'm like, yeah, they decided not to. It's like, no, we don't even have them. Never mind.
So there has been a little bit of a quest mage floating around as well. It's not doing great. But it seems like there's a couple lists that are above 50%. So if you're up for random shenanigans, that is an option for you as well.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of quest mage, actually.
Right here, Paladin. Paladin has a couple different versions of an aura deck. Has more of a straight up aura deck, and then it has what HS Guru has as End of Turnidin. Where it's running all the end of turn cards that we got this set. I've been impressed with the end of turn cards, especially Nozdormu. I've been a lot happier with those cards. I thought that they're going to be a little bit too slow, but even without the doubled effect, sometimes you can, it's just enough for you to stabilize for a turn and then start to turn the corner afterwards, or at least make things awkward enough. Didn't quite find the success that I wanted, but I was trying to figure out the deck for like the 4 games that I played it and before I swapped off, but it is one that I wanted to come back to, hopefully, and seems to be doing all right. The end of turn Paladin sitting at about 53%, 1.7% play rate.
Yeah, it's an interesting deck. It's kind of hard to figure out when, like, the right balance of the end of turn effects and how to make it work. I thought that if you had the aura that doubles the Sand Fury aura, and you swung the maul, that you would get double ticks as well. But apparently that's not the case. I haven't actually been able to test it, because I missed an opportunity the other day when I did have an opportunity to do it, because I forgot that the stupid what's it, Ancient of Lore or whatever it is, it was an end of turn effect. So I'm like, oh, I guess I can't even try this. And it's like, yeah, that's an end of turn effect. Like, oh yeah, wait, that's an old card. But it definitely feels like there has to be find the right balance. Scalebreaker Bulwark, the 6 mana 3/6 at the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all enemies, has been really good, especially against Druid, especially with Sand Fury aura. Spearheart Sentry has been surprisingly good. I think we slept on that one a little bit, but it turns out you discount 3 cards and maybe even get 2 of them. Usually they can be pretty good. Unfortunately, Chromatus is not there yet. I've tried to play him a little bit. I thought maybe we could make it work with some, like, I don't know, some end of the turn effect, if you can kind of like stick something and play Chromatus behind it. And I had one game where that really worked out well, but one game does not a meta make. overall, I think Paladin has a lot of growth to do, but I think it's in a good spot for that growth. GamerRVG, are you a Paladin fan?
I'm interested by the tools they have, but I can't say I'm a fan quite yet. I wasn't paying super close attention to the cards before they released, and I played against Paladin the other day, and I had to look up. I'm like, because they had the Shatter card, and I'm like, okay, what does this card do? And I saw it, and I'm like, okay, this card's actually like this Flight Maneuvers card. I don't know, if you can fit it into a deck right now, but that card's really strong. You summon the 2/4/2s, and then you give your giving your minions Divine Shield is just so annoying. And then the other card that I saw when playing against it, and I'm like, oh, this card is just annoying, and it's just it can snowball out of hand is the Nozdormu that gives your minions Divine Shield or buffs them if they already have Divine Shield. So you have to it protects your minions, and you have to deal with the Nozdormu itself, or else like if you don't kill him the following turn, you just it's going to be very, very hard to get back into the game. So I'm interested to see those two cards in particular in the future, what can be done with it, and maybe a more aggressive paladin or whatnot.
And this deck is missing the drink that just rotated. Divine Brew would have been nuts with this deck, I think, because that would have been an instant, basically +3/+3, if you got minions down along with the Nozdormu there. So it's a fun deck. I played a little bit of it. I think we're gonna see it really kind of take off when it's refined.
So I did hit. I thought that it was a double Nozdormu. It wasn't. It was just Gelbin. So I had the aura up into Nozdormu. I do think I hit double Nozdormu once off of the Dark Gift, Savius, and I got a 2/2 copy of it. That is very, very good with end of turn. So definitely worth looking at a worse minion for that effect. But I hit the dream of building this huge board. I had like 56 attack on board at the end of turn 6. But it was against Priest, so I got Shadow Word ruined. And my day was ruined. So beware who you're playing against before you do those things. But yeah, the end of turn Paladin has seemed decent. The Shatter card is definitely has a good spot in that deck. I think it's in the top list of the deck right now. It definitely helps out leading into Nozdormu, or if you can stick that. Other than that, Paladin's not doing a ton of other things. Like I said, there's an aura. Apparently, there's someone playing around with Imbue Paladin, but that's not like 40%. So do with that what you will. Priest. I don't know if either of you two tried out any Priest before I talk about this Imbue Priest.
Nope, I haven't played a game.
So I ended up grabbing Language Hackers List because I saw some people talking about this Imbue Quest Priest. I'm like, where did this come from? It is everything costs like 5 or less except for the Fabled cards. And I've been pleasantly surprised with it. It's not showing up great in the stats right now, but there are individual lists that are showing tier 2 level stats. But basically it's a control deck, and it's a heal yourself deck until you suddenly turn the corner later on, because you play Cleansing Cleric, which makes all your healing effects heal 2 more. That card is absolutely bonkers. So which we kind of expected, but when was it Devouring Plague suddenly becomes heal 12 or whatever it is, crazy. Then it's a very, very good card. And then you just have enough to kind of keep surviving until you end up getting through your deck and you get to the Fabled cards, and then you start to swing back, and you end up winning either because you swung tempo back that way, or you Ruby Sanctum with your buffed heal cards and have a Tesh equipped. So now your flash heals deal 14 or 18 damage, and you just burn them down in the late game. It loses to other damage from hand very often. It is not the faster burn deck burn combo, whatever you would call it, at the end of the game, compared to like a burn mage or a face hunter, or even like the shaman and the herald. The demon hunter can sometimes be tricky, but it has a lot of game, especially because with the quest, Medivh's Triumph automatically costs 1 because the quest costs as a legendary card you control. So that is a deck that Priest isn't showing very good in the stats right now, but I know Tic Tac made a tweet about it the other day talking about he expects to see a lot of it in Masters Tour lineups, and thinks it'll kind of settle at tier 2, maybe low tier 1, as the decks get refined, and it has game against Druid.
Yep, that's fair. And I haven't really felt oppressed by Priest yet. Like, I mean, occasionally they do things. I have a question though. On the Alex Straza, which we haven't seen. I know there's some people messing around with it, but we haven't seen it. But it's a 7-mana 8/8 battle cry. Set your remaining health to 15. When you reach full health, deal 15 damage to your opponent. If I do that more than once, if I like heal myself to full, deal 1 damage to myself, and then heal myself again, will that do 30, or is it only a one-time effect?
I'm assuming it's a one-time effect.
It doesn't say that on the card.
It is a one-time effect. You are able to double it with I forget the card, but there is a way to double it to do 30. Can't think of it quite off the top of my head.
Do double battle cry with Dark Gift?
No,
or is it copy with Schism, the shadow card?
Yeah, that might be it.
All right. Because that would have been a nice little thing. It's like you player, you hit yourself, you heal yourself, game over.
I think that would be too strong if you just can heal yourself full, deal 15, deal 1 damage to yourself, and then heal. That would be crazy.
Yeah, priests are dead by turn 7, 8 anyway.
Yeah.
I will also say we discussed it when we were talking about the priest cards in the reveal season about Mend and Ruby Sanctum. That does work if you Ruby Sanctum and use Mend on an opposing minion. It'll deal damage of what its full health is and kill it.
Yep.
So I had to do that. I needed to do it a game. I'm like, well, we're going to find out if this works, and it did.
All right. Looks like we're on to Rogue.
Yes. So yeah, Priest doesn't have too much else. I've seen a couple people testing out an Egg Priest just because Egg's been working in Warlock and Warrior, but less successful so far.
Torby Flenderson, patron of the show, has been texting about this in the bakery today and saying that he's had a pretty good success rate with one he's been working with. So I guess it's a derivative of one that came from Funky Monkey. So do with that as you will.
Rogue seems to be mainly some variation of random stuff Rogue, whether that's heralding with Sinestra, Ashamain, Imbue, or a combination of them. Seems like the Herald Rogue is doing the best out of the three. For an archetype standpoint, just under tier 2, 49.7% with about 10% popularity, which is kind of expected. I haven't really run into a ton of it. I tried to play it the first couple days, but was too tired to really do much of anything with it. But I haven't seen hardly any Rogue at all.
I haven't felt like there's been a lot. I mean, I've seen plenty of Rogue. I don't feel like they've been playing a ton of the new cards outside of Sinestra, and occasionally I've seen Days and Agent of the Old One. It's Rogue is Rogue right now. Rogue is not like broken, but it's one of those ones that you feel like Rogue is good because you remember the losses, because it's something they pulled out of nowhere. You're like, I have a full board, I am doing great. What are they gonna do? And then if they generate a Typhoon, you're like, oh, that didn't just happen to me twice. So yeah, it's fine. It's I think it's in a good spot where it's not dominating the meta. Doesn't feel too strong, but it still kind of does the thing that Rogue players that like to generate random stuff get to do. So I think it's in a good spot What are your thoughts, RVG?
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with you. It's kind of in a spot where rogue player, it's not too powerful, it's not too weak. Rogue players get to enjoy it, where a bunch of random stuff, it can be annoying from the other side. When you're because right now they kind of just die to board, and then they get they play their Sinestra. A lot of times they just die, but you're not gonna remember the times they just die. You remember the times where they scam you with a bunch of random stuff, and that would be that is my one complaint with Rogue right now, is that that's all it does, or that's all it feels like it does, is just random stuff. It doesn't feel like its game plan is ever. It's nothing other than random. It doesn't seem like it has a place other than doing random stuff.
Yeah,
But,
their game
people enjoy
plan
that.
is we don't need game plan. We have game plan at home. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show last week or the week before when we were doing the theory crafting. I generated a Twilight Mistress off of Merithria. So I had a 1 mana, and the Twilight Mistress, for those of that don't know, because you probably haven't seen the card before, is a 9 mana 4/12 dragon battlecry. Return all enemy minions to their owner's hand. Fantastic card to play unless you have to remember that it triggers death rattles if it goes into their hand and their hand is full. So you do not want to do that when they have the last iteration of their egg, because you play that and all of a sudden they have a 20/20. Bad times for you.
Yeah, I got wrecked by that card playing Shaman, because not only did it send my whole board to my hand, it filled my hand with all my Herald soldiers and whatnot. That is just a bunch of 2 and 4 mana soldiers, because I was far enough along that didn't do anything when I played them on board, but were too awkward for me to get out of my hand. And then when I played Alakir, I ended up getting more chalk for 1 mana, which is really, really good if you have an empty hand. I did not, so I did not get anything out of it to save me that game. But I also got hit by the dragon on like turn 6 because I, coin, dragon.
Before we get to Shaman, I'm going to break in here with a public service announcement. So a couple nights ago, streaming, and somebody in the chat says, "Hey, are we ever going to be able to get the achievement for the Dragon Whelp? Which the achievement for that is the O2 Whelp that gets +1/+1 each turn. You have to summon a 10/10." And they're like, you think there's any way to do it outside of maybe, getting lucky against a bot and wild? I'm like, no, I think we can do it. That game, I was at 9-9, and all I had to do was get to the next turn and pop it, and my opponent conceded. So if you see someone that has a 9/9 whelp, just let them pop it. Just let them pop. It's kind of like the Sword of Truth thing. Remember when you had to hit your opponent with the Sword of Truth and everyone conceded before you get to do it? Just let them do it. Do the right thing. Anyway, sorry. Shaman.
Yeah, what have you guys seen for Shaman so far?
I've seen a lot of Alakir, Lord of Storm Shaman. Not as much of the Crackling Cloud Striker type Shaman that I thought I would. I've seen some people try to sprinkle it in, but for the most part, it's just kind of feels like an aggro-y Shaman that you get a lot of minions on board. They get plus minions from the heralds, and they're difficult to deal with. How about yourself, Gamer? What are you seeing about Shaman?
Yeah, I've only seen the Herald Shaman, but when I have seen it, it looks like it looks like a fun deck. You just get these minion. You get these the Herald is really cool, where it buffs your minions. You get to rush in or do extra damage, and it's kind of this I don't know. It just looks like a fun min-range deck. I think it's not the most powerful right now, but it looks like from my perspective that Shaman's in a pretty good spot right now.
And Myrtle's Last Stand is a really good card. It's a 9 mana nature spell. Draw 2 cards, cost 1 less for each time for a friendly character that attacked this game. By like turn 3 or 4, this is free. So don't sweat it. It's a solid card.
Yeah. The Herald Shaman is doing very well. Diamond through Legend, it's sitting at the 4th best archetype after the Druid, dominant decks. It falls off a little bit as you get higher up, but it's very, very good, and it feels very, very flexible to where I've seen a ton of different kind of variations on it for even the last 10 cards, not just the last handful of cards of how much we're running for reactive spells like Lightning Storm and Hexes and things like that, or do we run more tempo based and play, most of them are playing the Wailing Vapors, the elemental against element and attack when you play an elemental. But throwing in different 1 and 2 drops to kind of have some early board, throwing in some controlling cards, throwing in heal or generation. It's a very, very flexible deck that I think once everything else settles, it's going to get better, even because then it's going to know what it needs to target. But it just constantly has a board and constantly it does a lot of chip damage. It doesn't have a ton of sudden damage early, but it has enough chip to where then once you get to Muradin and the hammer and late game, then you're threatened and you're going to eventually die to it. It's just kind of if you can get through to it first. I thought that I was safe because I kind of played around most of their stuff, and then they got charge on Alakir because of Dark Gift. And I see why it has rush and not charge, as we all talked about. I did not win that game. I died from like 30.
Yeah, I'm seeing Placido in chat saying that that goes really well when you have Deathwing in the Muradin weapon, and I can see that. That's bonkers.
Yes. And it's very easy to get Deathwing down early if you get Ultraxion, because all of the Shaman Herald cards are cheap. They're both, the class-specific ones both cost 2. So it's very easy to get that down cheap if you can draw it, and you're getting a lot of draw because of Muradin's Last Stand. Very, very good deck. Little bit tricky to kind of figure out because it's, sometimes it feels like it should be more aggressive. Sometimes it feels like it should be more reactive, kind of figuring out that game plan like Shaman normally has, but it's a very, very powerful deck. Warlock. I've seen 1 Warlock since the set dropped, so I don't have much to say with Warlock. Have either of you seen much?
I love seeing Warlock because right now I just run over Warlock. It is. I think I'm 9-1 against Warlock right now, and I think Warlock is going to be fine when the meta slows down a little bit. But right now, it just cannot. The stuff it does, it cannot keep up with a druid. It cannot keep up with Imbue Druid. It cannot keep up with anything, because the cool things you want to do is like, hey, I'm gonna curse chains, and I'm gonna herald, and I'm gonna eat whatever I stole. And they're like, yeah, I don't care. I have like 18 of them, whatever. And the egg is too slow against it. And they have Eldritch Tentacles, which is a pretty good card against, like, say, a token druid or a Treant Druid, but not necessarily against the Imbue Druid, which is a 6-mana spell that deals 3 damage to all minions. Repeat this for 1 less damage. It's a good card, but it needs more tools there. I've seen some people messing with Rafam. I have yet to, I believe, see Cho'Gall Mastermind played. I could be wrong because it might have just been that they played it and then I killed them the next turn. But I like Warlock's kit. I think it'll be fine when the meta kind of gets shifted around. But it's not there yet. GamerRVG, you seen any Warlock out there? I'm guessing not at High Legend.
I've seen a couple. I mean, I think that it hasn't been that great. I've just been seeing a couple Egg Warlocks. I hope that that the Warlocks end up doing more than just the Egg Warlock stuff, because we have seen that a lot. So I hope that that they're able to find something else. I am concerned that they're not going to be able to find anything else because of how the Herald works with eating. So I'm worried because I don't find the Egg Warlock particularly. I mean, it can be fun to play, but playing against it, it's not the most exciting. So I hope. I'm concerned for. I'll say I'm concerned for this expansion.
That's fair. And I think one of the things is there's no real like warlock main streamer out there, is there? Like there's no one that's like, I'm a warlock main and I'm going to innovate and really kind of lead like we have with a lot of the other classes. And I think that also is like a space that, hey, if you're trying to become a streamer, maybe latch on to warlock and get good at it. But I think it's missing that too. It's missing someone to herald the charge, as it may be.
And with that, we have one class left. We have Warrior. As I think everyone predicted, Dragon Warrior is doing fine early on in the set. Turns out the deck that didn't lose much and got more dragons is doing okay when it's a dragon deck. Outside of that, I know that there were a lot of people freaking out end of the week about Egg Warrior being too strong. I don't know if that's panned out that way or if it's kind of settled down. I didn't run into any of it, but I know people were. I know at least in a couple of discords there was a lot to do about Egg Warrior being too strong, and right now it's sitting just barely above 50%. So, what have your guys' experience with Warrior been?
RVG?
Yeah, so my experience with Warrior is, I mean, I know that there are Dragon Warriors around, but I really haven't seen them in High Legend. I assume that in lower ranks it's still kind of popular, but I have seen the there was a period of time where I was seeing a lot of Egg Warriors, and it's a powerful deck because there's no removal right now. But then it just takes a couple people to tech in the 4/4 silence, and all of a sudden the deck kind of vanishes because the warrior can't beat the silence. So and that I haven't. That's the only control warrior I've seen is the egg. So it kind of, once you see people start to tech the 4/4 and the warrior just disappears.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of Quest Warrior, but not a ton. It really hasn't felt like it's the meta's too quick for it, right? And there's not enough like losing Brawl, losing some of those cards has really helped. Decimation's a really solid card. I was able, you're able. All you need is 1 minion on your side to get rid of a full board of somebody else's, even if they have like Wicker Fang or something like that. There's a lot of interesting things here. I don't think Ragnaros. I think Ragnaros is a good card, is a strong card. I don't think it is as scary as a lot of people thought it was going to be. Like because you have to herald, you have to get to a place where you can actually, do the things. And it's a lot of times I've seen it, and it's like, well, so it's been heralded twice, and it's like, okay, well, what's that going to do?
Yeah.
And I wanted to see Destructive Blaze. Maybe I don't. I wanted to see the Patron Warrior Destructive Blaze be a good card, but then again, maybe I really don't, because if it's too good, it's probably going to be one of those decks that just kind of really annoys the crap out of you because it just takes forever for it to do its thing. And then you're like, am I going to die or not? I have to wait because I have to see if it's actually going to hit the right things. But, and again, like I said, I was playing a viewer's a Recruit Warrior, which I do think there's something there, but it's not there yet. But overall, I think Warrior's in a good position. They have a good deck. They have other good archetypes they can experiment with, and I think they got good tools.
So there is a warrior archetype that I did not see coming. It's not showing up in the stats at just top 1K, but showing strongly for Legend and Diamond through Legend. Yasandra Warrior. Which is a ton of control tools. And then for minions, it's running Yasandra, Great Dracorix, and Tortola, and it's running Gladiatorial Combat to pull one of those out of the deck. At Legend, it's sitting at 52.7%, very low play rate. It's only 0.5%. But there might be something there to play around with, especially if it has enough to keep up with, clearing the tokeny decks that are out there, which it has a ton of removal for 3 or less, and then you pull out one of those for on 5, make a copy of it, or make an egg of the Cassandra with the location, and then just kind of overwhelm them as you go. So kind of a sleeper, but it's something that is popping up as possibly worth trying in the stats.
That's fair. And I will say with the one positive thing about the meta being very quick is that there's no time to get a War Master Blackhorn into any deck anywhere. Haven't seen the card. Go away. Don't want to see you. Don't like. I mean, we know the meta's going to. The meta never stays this fast for that long. So I'm always hopeful that a couple. Eventually, people are going to latch on to the 1 or 2 good aggro decks that are there, but then everything's going to have some kind of rock paper scissors to it. So again, it's busy right now. I'm glad Deathwing is where it's at, because my biggest worry about the set was we're going to see too much Deathwing, because it's like see too much Elise, Ziliax, whatever all the time. And yes, Deathwing is in a bunch of decks, but you really get to that point of the game where he's played, and when you do, it's not necessarily the end of the game. So I think they've done a really good job here. I think it's hard to always understand which decks from the previous expansion are going to survive, because when they generate these expansions, it's like a year ahead of time, and even as this balance, you don't know that it's going to, like, what nerfs and what changes are going to happen, what buffs are going to happen to the expansions over time. So it's hard to be like, oh, maybe we should be worried about Imbue Druid when we come into this set. They can't do that. But I think overall, I haven't seen anybody complaining. Like, even people are a little sick of Druid, but even that's been very, very little. Like, everyone's having fun, and most of the time by now the doomsayers are out and say, I can't believe blah 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 blah. But for the most part, I think everyone's been positive. I've had a blast. My only concern, my only problem with not playing enough, wanting to play Hearthstone is Hades 2. Because anytime, like, I want to, I just end up playing, like, I'm like, well, you know what? I should go play Hearthstone, but also there's Hades 2. And I'm trying to get to the end where I have all the things done and get that all done, and then I'll just do heat runs here. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great spot. What are your thoughts, GamerRVG, about the set now that we've had it for a week, and we're coming off last year, which was a year that we had in Hearthstone?
Yeah, I am. I would say I'm pretty hopeful for the expansion altogether. I think there's a lot of fun decks. Like, even for example, right now, speaking on the current meta, the druid is very fun to play. I like what it does. It's fun to play outside of the mirror. I would say the mirror, not very fun to play, but it's still a very fun deck. Like if they toned it down and it was still playable, I would be very happy with that. I think right now it's a very aggressive meta, which is it's cool to see. I don't think we've had quite an aggressive meta in such a while, and that's because I mean the big thing is there hasn't been so little removal in like forever. Like, there, I don't know the last time we've had this little like efficient removal in the game.
Yeah, we're really at a point now where if you can't stick a board, or if your opponent is able to swing the turn and have a board where you can't kind of react to it, you're in trouble. And this is something that a lot of people have said they wanted. We'll see if how long this goes on, if people are like saying, hey, bring back Brawl or something. But I hopefully not. I think it's been fun. It's been fun to play cards and have those cards matter. It's been fun to get to turn 8 and be like, okay, I can win next turn, and not just have every single opponent in every single class heal back to full with Ziliax. It's been a wonderful thing. So I'm overall happy. Pilot, I know you haven't played a ton yet, but what are your thoughts on the state of the meta?
Yeah, I think I'm happy with where things are. I, we talked a little bit about, there's a couple quote unquote old decks that are, at the top, but even those older archetypes are running 6 to 10 new cards out of the 30 very easily. Who knows how many of them will stay, but, plenty of them are running plenty of new cards. And just kind of iterating on what they had, which is what you want in a card game. That's how things work. So I think some of the we've Imbue Druid is dominating. We have this old deck. I feel like that's a little bit of an overreaction. Yes, it's good, but it's not just because it's an old deck that was easy to grab and just keep 30 cards. It had good cards that it could put in. I do think that I don't think that we need. I don't know when we'll get the balance change. It might kind of depend on what the tournament schedule is as well, because I don't know that off the top of my head. I don't know if we need to jump to one this week or if we can wait till next week. I'd like to see what the meta does to respond to Druid. I feel like there's been an effort to do that, just like there's an effort to respond to Egg really quickly as it got more popular, because we put in the silence, the 4/4 silence, shamans put in Hex, and that took care of that problem very, very quickly. I don't know if Druid has as easy of a solution. I think Warrior has some tools to help, but I think that they're a little bit too slow to get there, especially because like Shell NATO is really awkward when we don't have safety goggles anymore. It's hard to build up the armor to make Shell NATO work. Decimate costs 6. Priest really has kind of the best answers to it right now, with Medivh's Triumph, which is why the quest is being run. Death Knight is the one that's hurting the most, because I don't know what clears Death Knight has right now, honestly. I don't know if they have any board clears, because I can't think of one off the top of my head at all.
They just have the 6 mana Herald one, which is really it's 480. Yes. It's really expensive.
So I feel like Death Knight has had the biggest whiplash of having all the clears to now having absolutely nothing that works very well early on, because they've lost Corpse Explosion and they've lost all their rush cards, which I know people are probably fine with, but I think that's been the most awkward change, and that's what honestly has given aggro the most breathing room. So I don't have any huge concerns. I think Druid will get tuned down a little bit. I don't know how much it needs, but I think a couple of the outlier cards nerfed will probably help that, and maybe a little bit of help to some of the Herald classes that are a little bit awkward just to get there. But I'm happy with where it's at so far.
The only thing I wish they did differently was I wish that this weekend was the Masters Tour instead of last weekend, because who cares about the Franken meta? And that was kind of weird and awkward. And they had a bunch of decks that, like, yeah, it was interesting for them to kind of make that adjustment. But if you're going to give them like 3 days to like make decks and do something, why not do it when you have the new expansion, when you can like see a lot of innovation from these high caliber pros going into a brand new meta, and maybe define some things and bring things out that maybe we haven't seen yet.
That was a qualifier tournament, wasn't it? Or is
yeah,
it just something?
But
it was a playoffs.
It was a qualifier playoff, sure. I mean, but it was like an event in the thing. So they should have just, in my opinion, moved it out a week and done it during the new meta.
We also had opens this weekend, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, but that wasn't
for the next one, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't streamed, was it? It wasn't like an event where they were streaming. I'm talking about like where we get to watch and see them play.
Yeah. I know. I mean, from my perspective, I mean, I do agree and I disagree. I will say from the disagree point, or like I understand why they did what, like there's a big incentive for them to do it before the expansion to promote the new expansion, right? To get people. I mean, I guess you can promote it after it's already released, but they wanted to promote it before it's released to get those pre-orders and stuff like that. So I know why they did it before. It's definitely to get people to pre-order.
Well, then do it. Put them on the theory crafting servers. Like, okay, hey, guess what, guys? You guys get to play with the new cards early in a playoff tournament and really highlight our new cards and get people excited to buy the new sets. Let's go.
So, I also have to say, I feel like the schedule this year is a little bit more awkward because
they tightened it up.
It's tightened up because of Worlds being at BlizzCon rather than in November or December, like it has been multiple times, to where now they've got to get everything in, including a third Masters Tour Championship before all of that. So everything's got to be really, really condensed.
Oh, but I don't care about logistics of it. Fine, let them deal with the logistics. They made their own issues. I'm just saying, as a fan, what I would have liked to have seen is I much rather would have seen people messing around, like all of a sudden, hey, they're playing these cards and like, what's that card? That's the new card. I'm excited about it. Let's go buy this set versus Starship Druid, Starship Warrior, Starship. Just although it was kind of cool that they had a Quasar Rogue that was in play. At the same point, it would have just been nice to see like good advertisement with the new set. I don't know. But
I think what we've proven with this conversation is Tito's never going to be happy with esports decisions.
Oh, no. I'm happy. I thought it was good. It would have been slightly better. Just tweak it. You can't tell me it wouldn't have been cool to see it with the new cards. So does anybody else have any final thoughts on the expansion before we move on to the wrapping it up? All right, so GamerRVG, we have a final question for you, final interview question. We have to know, and we really have to know this. This is important. This is hard hitting. This is defining. What's your favorite dessert?
I think I'll just have to go with one that I have a lot and that I really enjoy, and that would be chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream.
Solid. I don't know anyone that doesn't like that. So smart. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so by joining our Patreon over at patreon.com/BreadAndButterHS. You get access to the raw audio early. You get access to a members channel on Discord. You get to help shape future questions. You can ask who our guests are. Any questions you might want to ask about the guests, you can let us know. If you'd like to help us in a non-financial way, you can let people know about the show and give us a 5-star review. It really helps people find the show. And you can look for us at BreadAndButterHS on the YouTubes. GamerRVG, where can people find you if they want to locate you on the social medias?
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/GamerRVG. Yeah, that's, or you can find me at, the X or twitter.com/GamerRVG, but mostly just the Twitch. I stream as much as I can get around to it. I'm very inconsistent because I focus on the competitive. So I will say it is quite random when I'm streaming, but hopefully you can maybe catch me at the right time.
Pylet, is there anything you like to? I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Pylet, where can people find you on social medias?
You can find me Pylet712. That's Pylet on Twitter and Blue Sky, as well as in the Bread and Butter Discord, as well as a couple other Hearthstone Discords.
And you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and especially YouTube. Lots of new stuff. But you can find me at titosantanahs. GamerRVG, anything you'd like to shout out or promote this week?
No, I would just actually I'll shout out just Hearthstone esports in general. I hope you guys tune into the broadcasts that they do to show your support for the esports as a general, because without if they don't see the numbers, they're not going to continue to support it, and I think it's something that's we should try to, as a community, continue to support. I think it's important for a card game like this to have an esports scene. So yeah, just make sure to tune into tournaments, and if you have any friends that play Hearthstone or whatever, tell them to watch the tournaments too.
Pylet, I'm tempted to go first because you stole mine, but go ahead.
But I don't know which one I stole. So gonna shout out Torby for he jumped on filling in for Storm Rage on his Substack this week and had a very good article about kind of dealing with self-criticism and balancing wanting to be better and not being too hard on yourself. It's an excellent read, and also kind of jumping off of that and just jumping from life things, just a general public service announcement of always just be kind to people. You never know what anyone's going through or dealing with in their life. Had a ton of stuff that we were dealing with on our band trip behind the scenes of just this and that and the other, and life happens, and always feel like it's a good reminder that you never know what other people are thinking or feeling or going through. So when in doubt, just be nice to people and be a kind person.
100%. Like, don't steal somebody's anything. No, just kidding. Torby, very, very good article. Very introspective. You are good at Hearthstone. But I'm gonna shout out just everyone that's been in my stream lately. It's been really nice to kind of like start to build up a more of a community, and it's been fun, and people are excited, and I'm excited. So I hope to see you there. And I stream, and besides that, it's been so nice to have people popping in the stream because they have found the show, and then they have found me and all that. So it's nice to see everything come together. So I appreciate you. But anyway, guys, I think we're toast. We'll see you.
See ya.
All right. Well, thank you everybody who's been in chat. I see you just found your way onto XRVG.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me, I don't think about those things. So if you would have told me, I would have retweeted it, but I didn't even think about it.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Not a lot of we've only been streaming the episodes for what, like 3 months now, something like that. So we don't have a big in live audience at the moment. But then again, watching Queen Concede, they have thousands of viewers and they don't have a big online. So I'm not expecting much for being live, but it does. We get the VODs and we get the whatever. So it's good to make content with. But you think you have fun? Okay.
I was gonna say I'm still forgetting to remember to even put it in our own Discord until we're 15 minutes into the episode. I definitely put the ping in while we were doing the interview.
But yeah, no, it's great having you on, RVG. I hope you had fun.
Yes.
I hope it's good to talk.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for sure. If you want me back on for a specific topic, like I said, I'm very very invested and focused on the competitive side. So if you guys have questions about that or want me to expand on anything like that, I'd be more than welcome to. I want to like I said, I want to make sure that the people are invested in the esports scene. So
yeah, we definitely cover plenty of things on like picking lineups and dealing with like the stress and all that. So there's only so many topics you can talk about in Hearthstone, so we come around a lot of them once in a while. Like, hey, it's been a few months since we talked about this. Let's add that again. But no, it's really good. Yeah, we definitely will have you on again. It's always good to have returning guests. It makes it a lot easier to find guests. But yeah, no. So I will have. Oh, you don't really do YouTube, right? So all right, I'll have the VOD out and the podcast probably out tomorrow, and I will tweet it when it's out, and I'll let you know when it's live. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Everybody in chat, thank you for hanging out. I was gonna ask you something, Pylet, but I forget what it was now.
I don't know what it was either.
Well, duh. Why would you know? So are we going to do our usual thing, or do you want to play just normal meta tonight?
No, I could play a duos or two.
All right, cool. All right, so we're going to go off and play a duos. We'll shut this down. Gamer, thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you soon.
Yep.
All right,
Just be
take care.
sure. Yeah, hit leave, and then it'll tell you when you can close the window. It just needs to finish uploading the last little bit.
Okay.
All right, have a good night. All right, I'll see you over there, Mr. Pilot.
Yep.